Hello Internet, this is JF and I suck at ATS. The video on holes, the follow-up video on holes is still coming. This is just a quick one on dots. There's dot notation. So ATS is dot notation in two places. One of them in records. So if you have, value, if you have a record like this, you can go on to, create a record. Like int string key 2. Make it sort of correct. So you could say, key 1 equals 42, key 2 equals magic. And you can go on to refer to an element that's r.key1. So that's the normal case where you'll see dot notation in ATS. You won't see parentheses like this. It's just going to be like that without parentheses. But parentheses are also available in dot notation. And that's when you want to use them as functions. So there are a ton of them built in, or not built in, but they're included in the standard library. There's just a huge list of them. But the way it works is you use symenter to say, I have a symbol like plus or mulby. I think mulby might be one of the default ones. So let's say like .by instead. And then you can overload that symbol with plus int overload.by with mul ints. And you can have multiple overloads, and then they'll be determined, like the actual one that's used will be based on the types. So it'll just this leads to currently it leads to pretty terrible error messages because it'll just say, hey, you asked for a dot plus and I couldn't find anything for it. So it won't tell you like the types that it thinks it is. It won't tell you the types it's looking for. So if you make a mistake, it can be very confusing. But it's still a useful notation if you want to use it. All right, and we can go ahead and use this. All right, so and then you can say like n dot plus 5, and then of course n will be the first argument to the overloaded function, and then 5 will be the second argument to it. One thing you can't do is go on and say plus again, like plus 5 again, or do like multiply by 5 again. I'm not sure why this fails. I think it sees like a different type, so it's not it'll just give you an error message like, hey, I couldn't find that one. So we'll show you what that looks like. One. All right, my environment doesn't quite work for eShell, but yeah, you can still see the symbol dot plus cannot be resolved as no match is found. So yeah, it doesn't the types aren't what you would expect them to be in this case. But if you parenthesize it like this, then it will work. And what this probably means in practice is that you're just not going to want to have chains of dot notation like you would in an object-oriented language. Yeah, see, that works. So it's 70, what's that? 5 plus 5 times 5? Oh no, that's 15 times 5. Okay. Yeah. Or no, that's the original 4 plus 5. Yeah. And one of the reasons I had n here is because if you do 4, that's also a mistake. Yeah, see. And now it's looking for the dynamic identifier plus instead of dot plus. So it's including that in the 4. That's less of a problem in practice. The one where you have to have all these parentheses is a pretty severe one. Like I said, in general, you're probably just not going to do this. But if you want to have like if you're going to have like mutation or something that's a little bit more object oriented, then it would be useful to have obj equals new obj, and then have like a series of operations on it. Like that. This is something you can do with dot notation, and it'll look just fine. And again, like, this is all you'd have to have. You have to, a symbol called go, and you'd have to overload it with some function that works for a first argument of obj or whatever type this is, and a second argument of probably just a data type, whatever data type this is. All right, so that's dot notation. It's pretty easy to use. Like, you just create a symbol, you overload the symbol to function, and you just go and you call it directly. It just has a lot of caveats that you have to watch out for. And in practice, you're probably not going to want to use it except for something like a little bit more object oriented like this. That's all.